just to recall what y'all did, we noticed that to get here, there's a shift 3 right. To undo the shift, 3 left. One thing I like to do, if I was like to do more, I write out the alphabet. Okay? And then I know if A is actually D, I would rewrite the alphabet underneath. And so on. And it just helps the whole process be pretty quick. Because you can just line it up what's what. Okay? So again, big idea. To make it, they shifted 3 right. For us to undo it, we shifted everything 3 left. And now we're spies. Okay? So it does make the vowel thing look cool. So what you're going to work on next, using the same idea, is you are going to encode something for your partners to decode. Your message, just like 3 or 4 class appropriate, friendly words in the statement. You're going to choose a shift between 1 and 10. So you're choosing your shift. Again, I like to write my alphabet out, and it just helps me instead of counting over and over or something. And then you're going to trade with your partner, and your partner is going to try to decipher your code. To expedite this process just a little bit, you are going to tell your partner how many you shifted. So, and when if you finish that ahead of time, you'll be able to see me on the board. I'll write it on here. I shifted mine 4, and my code is Quexel Moo Hunks. Okay? Everybody knows it. All right? So, if you finish your partners, you can try mine out. I shifted mine by 4. Again, you can figure it out. So, you are going to encode one, and then you are going to decode your partners. This take 5 to 10 minutes, I think. If you finish early, you're doing mine. All right? So, let's take... We all have different ones, right? Everybody shifted. And to undo your shift, and everybody had to undo the shift. So mine is a shift of 4 to the right. So really, to go from here to what it was, I need to go 4 to the left. So what's 4 to the left of Q? M. What's 4 to the left of E? A. What's 4 to the left of X? 4 to the left of L. 4 to the left of M. 4 to the left of W. 4 to the left of P. 4 to the left of M. 4 to the left of X. There we go. There's my code. And you all did something similar. Evan.
Oh, I get it. So the secret code, you need a specific number to solve it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So now you're all spies. No passing notes. I'm going to intercept them. Okay? So, let's go here. And we're going to do a little something together. We're going to assign some numerical values to this. This is where it gets a little more mathy. So we're going to look at the letter fish. Like the animal, not the band. Sorry, the word fish. And these numbers, M, those represent their position in the alphabet. So like F is A, B, C, D, E, F. It's the 6th letter in the alphabet. Everybody follow?
Yeah.
Okay, then what we are going to do is we're going to shift all of the letters in the word fish to make a code. We are going to go one before. We're going to shift them all to one letter before. So what number would that be for F? 5. For I. Hey, Micah's table, like your attention better. 1 before 19. And 1 before 8. 7. So this is the same thing, but we're just associating a number to its place in the alphabet. So to encode fish, we're going to go one letter before. So one letter before F. Before is E. One letter before I. One letter before S. One letter before H. G. Okay, your job with your partner is to next, B and C. I need you to write an equation to help us encode. Right, to go from original to new. An equation, I'll get you started with it even. We're going to be looking at how do we get to the C value. Then For C, you're going to look to write an equation to decode, to undo that. So C, we're going to be looking at M equals. So you need an equation that's going to work for any word. One before to encode, and then one to decode. All right, so using M, how do I get to C, everybody? What do I do to my M value to get to C? Minus 1. Whatever my M value is, if I subtract 1, it gets me to C. So how do I get back to M? C, add 1 to C. Now, so this would help you make the code. This would help you undo your code. Now, one point I want to make out. We're going to make a connection to something we've seen earlier this year. We rearranged equations in our equations unit. If I wanted to isolate M instead of C, how do I get rid of minus 1? Like you guys in this situation especially can use intuition. But there's why they're the same thing. Just like we saw in our equations unit. Asher, we're going to practice again. And I was doing this Christmas break. Lots of converting. I was in Mexico using conversions. I never actually converted any money to pesos because most places or every place took the US dollar, and I knew the conversion to where I could just like do it, right? I used 20. It was when I was there, it was right around 20, but here's where they can kind of get you. Here's a life skill. Some places that take cash, they try to give you a bad conversion rate like 17. But in Mexico you can negotiate. So I just be like, no, I'm willing to do this much US dollars and just do it, right? It's not like here. Out there you can negotiate like almost everywhere.
Because when you're paying conversions, don't you also have to pay a fee?
Yeah, so the reason I keep US cash instead of getting pesos is if you go to a place like a bank or anywhere that does a conversion, you pay a fee. So you're losing money anyway. Right. So as long as every place takes the US dollar, that's why I just keep. And then you can, another life skill, most travel credit cards, one of your credit cards likely will have no fees to pay in a different currency, and it just does the exchange rate.
Right, and it's not as.
And then you don't have to carry cash too. So I charge everything I can, and then, but different countries might be different. Some countries you might need to convert.
Yeah, so I saw this one video. Yeah. It was like, oh, you should.
This is really applicable, especially if you're on vacation ever, It is kind of also fun. You get a bill at a restaurant for like 600 pesos, and you're like, 600? But how much money is that really?
Like 30 US dollars.
Like 30. And I was like, what? I had an appetizer, 2 main meals, like 2 Diet Cokes. It was only $30, man. That thing run you $80 in the U.S., right? So, you're going to practice converting dollars to pesos, pesos to dollars, and I want the equation you could use to convert any dollars into pesos and any pesos into dollars. Let's go. I need this equation to go on vacation. Okay, so what did everybody do to go from pesos to dollars? What test? So you were saying you took 1932 and multiplied it by the number of dollars? Okay. So $100 is how many pesos? 1,932 pesos. $500 is
9,660
pesos. All right. Okay. And so, did you guys see how Tess said I just multiplied all the dollars by 19.32? Check out our equation. The number of pesos is equal to $19.32 pesos times the number of dollars. So to go from pesos to dollars, what'd you do? So how do I get dollars from pesos? Divide. So the inverse. We're going to take the number of pesos, P, and divide by 19.32. So when I divide 1,000 by 19.32, what do I get? $51 and how many cents?
76.
Nearest penny every time, right? So I divide 5,000 pesos by 1932. How many dollars is that? $258.80? Okay. So what's nice about having these two inverse functions here is one's really good if you want to know how many pesos a dollar is. One's really good for knowing how many dollars pesos is. If you're trying to find out how many pesos how many dollars there are for number of pesos here, you're going to have to undo stuff every time. Where if you just go here, it's already undone, throw pesos in, done. All right? So you use intuition to just say these things and do these things, and then we're putting these equations to it. So these are actually the same equation. We're just flipping what's independent and dependent. Okay? Same value. And I can prove they're the same value because watch this. You remember our unit on making equivalent equations. If I divide both sides by 19.32 here, if I do it to both sides, it's still equal. D equals P over 19.32. They are the same equation, just rearranged. Inverse functions in this case. There they are. We changed the dollars to pesos and pesos to dollars on our independent and dependent variables to make inverse functions. I'd like you to complete the lesson summary and show me to get your homework, please.